Border Patrol protest, a large-scale demonstration in Raleigh over Border Patrol activity in the area today. The message from protesters to local and national leaders.
They are looking for repeat criminals, those who have criminal records that they've gotten while they're here.
They're just sweeping sidewalks. This is not about public safety, and I wish that it were.
Confusion mounts over the federal targeting of immigrants in the Triangle, what it means for our community.
A pleasant day will give way to showers overnight. I've got the newest timing for rain chances, plus how long we'll see temperatures in the 70s.
We start with this right now. People are protesting in downtown Raleigh, protesting immigration enforcement operations in our area. Great to have you with us. I'm Dan Haggerty.
And I'm Ashley Rowe. We want to give you a live look at the scene right now. Protesters have since marched back to Moore Square. Hundreds of people showed up to this protest. You can hear them chanting right now. Many have been marching through the streets, saying they are against the immigration enforcement that we have seen in our area today and in Charlotte over the weekend.
So we're going to do something a little differently here tonight with our coverage. We want to hear from you, as we often do here at 7 o'clock. Email 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Give us your feedback and your questions throughout the show. We're going to go through a few of your messages at the end of the newscast tonight.
So people in neighborhoods across our area took video of what appeared to be Border Patrol agents. We've seen videos of people being detained, others being confronted or confronting agents, and other videos where agents appear to be investigating. And those are just a few examples of the many reports that came into our newsroom all day.
It's all come to a head out in downtown Raleigh tonight. Sky 5 again over that huge protest. Hundreds and hundreds of people in Moore Square. A few hundred showing up to this tonight to march through downtown. And WRAL's Eric Miller is joining us live there tonight.
Eric, we've seen people holding up a number of signs and also people sharing their stories about not even letting their children go to school.
Yeah, Ashley, that's something that we heard from a mother we spoke to earlier this evening who said she kept home her 5-year-old, who is an American citizen, simply because she was afraid of her child being profiled. That's a common concern as we've talked to protesters here this afternoon, this evening. You can see behind us things just starting to wrap up. All of this has been going on for about 2 hours now. It started with speeches here in Moore Square. Then this crowd, several hundred strong, marched through downtown Raleigh to the state capitol before coming back here to Moore Square once again. For so many of the people we've talked to today, for so many of the people in this crowd, this has been a deeply personal demonstration and one that has been fueled by the fear they say they felt watching those images coming in from around the Raleigh area today of ICE agents, of Border Patrol agents out on patrol. And over the weekend, these operations in Charlotte as well. Keep in mind, this is the second protest we've seen here in Moore Square in just 3 days. Now, for organizers of this protest, they say this was put together very quickly, just in the last 24 hours. At the same time, they were trying to come up with ways to warn friends and neighbors about the Border Patrol operations that were coming. Organizers say they're hoping to send a message to ICE, to Border Patrol, and to push back on the narrative that those agencies have been putting out about why they're doing this enforcement work. Take a listen to what one organizer had to say here.
A lot of them did not have criminal records, so we're here to kind of speak out against that rhetoric and, ask folks to kind of question really who is the criminal here when so many folks are suffering. And we know that these ICE raids will not better conditions for working class folks, like politicians say.
Yeah, and here tonight, you can hear some of the cheers still ongoing at this point. This protest not fully wrapped up. We'll stay on top of things here in downtown Raleigh. Send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Eric. We want to also show you some video from Durham. A woman shot this video. It's at the intersection of Horton Street and Duke Street. She tells us she saw federal agents approach a woman, and so then she went to confront these agents. After that confrontation, and the agents, I will say, did stay quite calm throughout that confrontation, the agents eventually drove away and everything ended peacefully there. And that's just one of the incidents that we heard about today. Another reportedly took place at a daycare. WRAL's Willie Danley was there as officials there held a news conference about what happened. They say the daycare had to go on lockdown.
The director of this daycare facility in Durham tells me this morning her staff reported a large Border Patrol presence in this parking lot. This facility immediately went on lockdown that lasted until 5 o'clock. They actually had to ask some parents not to drop off their kids out of an abundance of caution. People who showed up tonight tell me that similar situations have taken place across the city of Durham throughout the day. Elected officials, religious leaders, Durham school officials all took to the podium tonight, expressing their frustration with the ongoing Border Patrol detentions taking place. Tonight, they're asking that residents of the Bull City stay vigilant and support members of the community that they say are under attack.
This is my neighborhood. I'm not just somebody that they flew in because I have a big title and I represent lots of people in North Carolina. This is my neighborhood. My religion calls me to welcome the immigrant and to serve my neighbors. And the Constitution tells me I have a right to do that.
People in attendance tonight had a lot to say. Tune in to WRAL News tonight at 10 and 11 for the story. Willie Danley, WRAL News, Durham.
So thank you to Willie. We also saw a bunch of people come out to the Wake County School Board meeting tonight. Brian Schrader monitoring this from the WRAL Live Center. A lot of people speaking during the public comment period, Brian, concerned about how the district would handle immigration enforcement at the schools.
Many parents talked tonight to school board members about their concerns over the immigration enforcement operations that are happening and what would happen if that came to a Wake County public school. This is one parent, Irene Godinez. She is the mother of a 9-year-old student in the Wake County public school system, and she says everyone needs better guidance on what to do in that situation.
Compassion alone isn't enough. We need district-wide preparedness. Every adult in every Wake County public school system building must be trained. This includes teachers, custodians, bus drivers, office staff, everyone.
And new tonight, Durham Public School Superintendent Anthony Lewis posted this video on Facebook saying that the school system does have guidelines for what to do if immigration enforcement officers or agents show up at a Durham public school.
Right. All right. Brian, thank you. So all day we have been asking our elected officials for their response to these immigration enforcement operations. And you can probably guess where most of them stand depending on their party.
But we also heard more nuanced takes on the situation. Here's Republican Congressman Tim Moore talking about encounters between people and federal agents.
Law enforcement owes a duty to the public to make sure that there's not excessive force, that anything like that. And so I'm going to think and going to believe that our law enforcement, who I certainly support, are going to approach it that way. They're going to try to do it in the least escalated way possible.
So we also heard from Governor Josh Stein, a Democrat, of course. We want to play an exchange between the governor and WRAL reporter Sean Gallagher.
This is a state that has supported the president for 3 straight elections, support his agenda. There's going to be a lot of voters that want to see this happen. I mean, what is your message to the other half of North Carolina who thinks this is operating right?
Yeah. People need to be safe, and we need to do everything we can. And if this were targeted to going after known people who are criminals or known people who are drug traffickers who are engaged in violent crime, that would be a good thing. But they're just sweeping sidewalks. They're sweeping parking lots. They're going into stores and churches. This is causing widespread fear, widespread uncertainty. This is not about public safety, and I wish that it were.
Parts of what Governor Stein just said there really gets to the core of what this story is about.
It does start with the huge amount of people who are in the United States illegally. We are talking about a lot of people. The Committee on Homeland Security estimates that there were about 10.8 million Border Patrol encounters between 2020 and 2024, and they estimate that another 2 million people got away entirely, meaning that agents did not detect their crossings, more than 2 million in those 4 years. And it's not just the illegal border crossings. The Department of Homeland Security reports between 2020 and 2024, 2.1 million people more reached the expiration date on their visas, but they stayed in the U.S. anyways.
And let's not forget, Dan, President Trump has been very clear from the very beginning that he would take action. Let's play a clip from a piece that ran on Inauguration Day back in January.
We're going to have the largest deportation in the history of our country.
But is it your plan to deport everyone who is here illegally over the next 4 years?
Well, I think you have to do it.
Is it realistic to deport everyone who's here illegally?
You have no choice. First of all, they're costing us a fortune. But we're starting with the criminals, and we got to do it. And then we're starting with others, and we're going to see how it goes.
Okay, now we are seeing how it goes, as he said. It's all being captured on video.
And some of the most intense videos in North Carolina, anyhow, have come out of Charlotte over the weekend. Perhaps you've seen them. Agents in masks arresting people on the side of the road in some cases. Agents with long guns walking up to landscapers in a neighborhood. Agents pointing a gun at a woman for taking a video from her car. And it's easy to see when you look at those specific videos and the way that they circulate that it would make people afraid, especially if you were someone who is in this country illegally. But we're not just talking about those folks. We're also talking about a lot of legal citizens who we have heard from. Parents keeping their kids home from school just in case, afraid of being profiled.
Yeah, and businesses from restaurants to landscapers are closing and canceling the jobs because their workers don't want to go outside. They don't want to drive to go to work. They're afraid that they will get caught up in the operation and end up in a facility potentially 2 states away. And it's not just the scary videos that are drumming up the fear. The facts and the stories play into it too.
So DHS, they say that they have arrested more than 200 people in Charlotte over the weekend, and they say 44 were in the country illegally and had a criminal record. Like President Trump was just saying, those are the people that they were going after. So far, we've only seen photos and specific charges for 11 of that number. But as for the rest of them, the details or the reasons they were arrested, those still remain unclear. And their crimes, the people who were arrested and charged, they say their crimes range from things like aggravated assault to shoplifting.
DHS has said ICE does not arrest or deport U.S. citizens. Any U.S. citizens arrested because of obstructing or assaulting law enforcement. And we've seen this play out as well. In July, a U.S. citizen sued for $1 million after being detained while recording an immigration raid in Los Angeles.
Another U.S. citizen in L.A. was detained for obstructing arrest. And in Charlotte, 2 U.S. citizens were detained for honking their horns and warning neighbors about Border Patrol in that area. And you might say that that all makes sense. The people who impede law enforcement and their operations are making a big mistake, and that they should not do that, and that they should be held accountable for doing so. Though it does seem like we are navigating a lot of mistakes during these arrests.
DHS says agents arrested 3,300 people during immigration enforcement operations in Chicago. Last week, a federal judge ruled hundreds of them took place without warrants. The judge ordered that 615 of the people detained should be released.
Now, those people they have not been released yet. We're still waiting to see how all of those details play out. We don't know how that story is going to end up. But we do know that it's reasonable to think that mistakes can be made. This happens in law enforcement all the time. It's not an exact science. Sometimes they detain the wrong person, and you can see how someone would want to avoid having to then prove their innocence in a way, or why there at least is fear out there.
Yeah, that can happen sometimes, right? Nobody wants to be the victim of one of those mistakes, and that's why the uncertainty and the fear, that's where it's coming from. People see the videos, they hear the stories, and they think, I don't want that to be me.
So as we said at the beginning of the newscast, we want to hear from you about this topic. And so many of you have already written in to 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. And we know there are a lot of different perspectives on this issue of immigration, how it is enforced, what needs to be done. We want to hear your take on this. We value what you think as viewers of this newscast.
Yeah, please share your stories, share your feedback. Share which parts of the story you want to see mentioned more on the news, or maybe mention it all. You maybe haven't heard it yet. Send us an email and we'll go through a few of your responses at the end of this newscast. And truly, we do like to look at all of them. The news is just getting started here at 7 o'clock.
Plenty of other headlines to talk about. We have your 5 things you need to know coming up. And an important vote is in front of the Wake County School Board, their new budget, what this means for teacher salaries.
Plus, a plane makes an emergency landing in Wayne County. Look at that. The nose is right down there. We're going to check in on the condition of the pilot. Kat?
And we've got 2 main chances for rain this week. One while you're sleeping tonight. The other one could affect your weekend plans. I'll have a closer look coming up.
Ooh, There's a whole lot going on in the news today. So let's roll through some of the headlines.
These are the 5 things you should know right now. Tonight, Wake County school leaders will make a final decision about their budget. It would not make any sweeping changes, but would save about $13 million. Teacher raises are not included, and that's because the district plans to use state funds to cover those costs. But state lawmakers, if you remember, have not passed their budget yet. The Durham mother charged after her son accidentally shot himself faced a judge for the first time today. She's charged with felony child abuse and misdemeanor permitting a child to use a firearm. Her 4-year-old son was seriously hurt, and Durham police say he is still in the hospital.
Federal officials are investigating after a plane made an emergency landing in a field in Wayne County. This was a scene on Davis Mill Road in Fremont this afternoon. Look at that. Highway Patrol says the plane was flying from Greenville to Goldsboro. Radio traffic reveals only the pilot was on the plane. Amazingly, he was not hurt. A company that makes rare earth magnets will create up to 1,000 jobs in Johnston County. Vulcan Elements plans to open a $900 million manufacturing facility in Benson. This will be key to strengthening the domestic supply chain for materials used in things like fighter jets, submarines, and all kinds of commercial products. And the program offering free parking in downtown Raleigh is popular, and it's going to last a little bit longer. Raleigh has been using this pilot program, offering 2 hours of free parking in certain parking decks. It was set to expire at the end of the year, but they're going to extend it for another 6 months. A new report found the program did indeed give a boost to downtown businesses. That's what they wanted to happen. They thought that that would happen if they did this effort, and sure enough,
there you have it.
It happened.
All right, meteorologist Kat Campbell joining us now as we prepare for a little bit of rain tonight. But overall, the temperatures are staying nice.
Yes, they will. They're going to be about 20 degrees warmer than we were last night. So that's a pretty significant change for us. Right now, 56 degrees, no rain until after midnight. If you want to open up the windows, let in a little fresh air, it's a good night to do it. Here comes the system bringing some rain tonight after midnight. We've got another one, though, lining up to our west. This will get here Friday night into Saturday. And this is the one that could have a bigger impact on your weekend plans, of course. For tonight, most of us are going to sleep through the rain. Midnight through 6 a.m. would be the best chance. Maybe 7 a.m. if you live in the eastern part of our viewing area. But as you wake up and the main morning commute, 8, 9 a.m. it looks much better. So make sure you check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner if you do have an early morning commute. She'll be on the air starting at 4:30 tomorrow. Here comes the weekend weather maker. Friday, a couple of showers. It's a 30% chance for rain. I wouldn't let that deter you from outdoor plans at this point. And we'll keep an eye on the NC State forecast, but it doesn't look too bad for the Friday night game. And then as we look ahead to Saturday, we've got the warm front situated right overhead. That could generate some showers early in the day, and then better chances coming during the afternoon, perhaps right ahead of the cold front. The way this setup is, at this point, there is a chance for rain during the Raleigh Christmas parade. It's about a 30% chance for rain in the morning right now, but we'll get a better feel for that when high-resolution model data becomes available tomorrow for Saturday. So make sure you check in for an update tomorrow. Regardless, for the start of the parade, it's going to be warm, 63 degrees when the fun kicks off at 9:30. Our coverage will start here on WRAL at 9 a.m. Tonight, milder with lows in the upper 40s to lower 50s. Some light rain possible tonight. And then tomorrow, check out these numbers. Low to mid 70s again. It ends up being a beautiful day outside. Any outdoor plans, you should be in good shape, especially during the afternoon. Leaves shouldn't be all that wet tomorrow. We're not going to get a lot of rain, so if you need to do some leaf blowing, raking, whatever it is you do, it'll be an okay day for it tomorrow, Thursday, even Friday. It's not all that bad, just a 30% chance for rain, and even warmer on Friday. Yes, 75 degrees again. We've had a lot of these warm days recently. Both Friday and Saturday highs should reach the mid-70s. Saturday, as of right now, is our best chance for rain over the next 7 days. And then behind it, Sunday, it'll be a little cooler, but when it's 68 degrees and sunny for your cool down, that's not bad at all for November. Dan and Ashley.
All right, Kat, thank you so much. Look, we have received so many of your emails. We're looking through them now. So much great feedback and questions about the immigration enforcement in our area.
Thank you for reaching out. For tonight's one last thing, we're going to read through a few of them, so stick around for that.
Welcome back. We got so many great emails coming into 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. All of you weighing in tonight. It was hard to decide which ones to kind of read. We only have a few minutes at the end, but as you know, we continue to use this feedback as we cover these stories continuously here at 7 o'clock. I want to start with a couple about the protest. This is one from John. He said, who calls and sets up the protest? We'll start with that. And typically these things, and I know this from working in Portland for years, a place that protests a lot, it happens organically. It's not some big conspiracy set up by one person. You know how the internet works. A lot of these people are on the same channels. They see what's happening. They either know each other or they're just inspired to go down once they see it's a cause they might be interested in. Rick said that WRAL is clearly on the side of the illegals. We did a lot of coverage at the protest tonight, and you know, when something happens, we cover it and we tell you what's going on and what the people are saying. If there was another demonstration that was supporting border agents, we would be covering that and doing the same. That didn't happen tonight, so our coverage was at the rally and protest tonight.
Dan, I want to read you an email from Henry. Henry says, I was born and raised in New Jersey. I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm an American of Black Hispanic descent. Should I be concerned and should I be carrying my U.S. passport with me at all times? I'm not here to give you any sort of legal advice, Henry, but what I will say is there are a lot of people who are carrying their documentation, passport or otherwise, on them so that they have something to present if they are approached.
And, you know, these agents, of course, you know, we have seen them move through our area today. We're getting questions about how long they are going to be here. What is this going to look like in the days ahead? Those are questions that we cannot answer right now, but we'll continue to have our reporters out in the field. We are going to continue to touch base with our contacts and try to get the best information we can for you.
Can I read you one from Donna Moss?
Sure.
By the way, you've got my favorite name. I love The West Wing and one of my favorite characters on that. Anyway, thank you for your excellent broadcast tonight, November 18th. You showed courage in tackling the nitty-gritty of life during the ICE raids. Please keep on reporting the truth. Donna, thank you.
And thanks everybody who wrote in. 7 p.m. at WRAL.com.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34.